So if you had to break down the Bonfire Moment, whether it's the workshop or the book based on that down to fundamentals, what would you how would you describe it?
So I'd say the number one message we really want to make sure is very clear with any leader, any team, is that the people stuff matters and it matters a lot. And so we lay out in the book quite a bit of the evidence, whether it's from our data or we looked at really the last decade or so of cutting edge research around organizations and teams and innovation type environments, and we lay it out for the reader to really make a judgment on their own to see that a lot of these things really matter a lot. So that's number one. The second one is to say that what it doesn't mean is that we're not saying therefore have happy teams. This isn't a happiness book. It's not a book about how do you just make things comfortable and easy for the team so that they can engage. It's how do you engage in some of the toughest conversations and deal with some of the trickiest, most difficult issues early on in a team so that you de-risk it from breaking down the line. And so if I were to break down what the Bonfire Moment really is, it's, we take an 8-hour block or a full day, and we break it down into 4 different parts. And we start the day with giving people a chance to self-assess how they do in terms of, a lot of the effective leadership strategies that we've summarized from our research. And so we have them go on do a self-assessment. There's an option to do a 360-degree assessment where you get feedback from your partners and your colleagues. And we have them really face hard truths about how they're showing up. Part 2 is where we invite them to start talking about, well, how do we, if we were to start with the premise that most teams amplify errors and most teams actually tend to do less optimally, how do we begin to understand, how do we get the most out of members of the team? We invite people to write up what we call a user guide. It's similar to when you buy a piece of software, or back then when you bought a printer, it would come with a user guide. How do you install it? How do you uninstall it? How do you troubleshoot issues? And it's kind of the same idea. How do you, as an individual being a part of this team, what are the ways that you can, engage with me effectively, troubleshoot, give me feedback, resolve conflict with me. So that's the second part. The third part is and it gets a lot more vulnerable in the third part, is we invite people to really think about and reflect on some of the insecurities and self-doubt that is very much a part of the journey when you're trying to do something bold and exciting. And we invite them to have what we have very fondly called the bullshit circle, which is a structured way for people to reflect on these deep insecurities and the masks that we tend to wear to really cover up a lot of this. And we find that when we invite people to reflect on this, really does a couple of things. So one is it gets, members of the team, it gives them this cathartic moment to just be a little bit more open and to feel seen by the team. I think secondly, for the team that's listening to what their teammate is sharing, it helps them also decode a little bit of the behavioral signals, those stress responses, those difficult moments in collaborating with them. And it helps the team to really comprehend and understand where they would be coming from and how to then support them through these difficult periods of time. That's the third block. The last block is simply, we lay out for the team a list of conflict that we see tends to be most damaging for people in startup-like environments. And we have them look through that list and then talk about the ones that they feel they haven't yet given voice to as a team, or that they're currently going through. And it's a way to really resolve some of the hidden conflict in the team. And so that wraps up the entire day, which, as you can probably tell, isn't the most relaxed and comfortable day. It's actually a day of a lot of self-reflection, a lot of confronting difficult challenges in the team.